on the path to enlightenment, and today is a very interesting topic on what we might call empirical facts. Do they reveal the truth, or do they conceal the truth? Do empirical facts reveal the truth, or they conceal the truth? Demetrius Vela says loud and crystal clear. So I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for sharing it everywhere. And let's continue. So today's topic is actually a very important topic to address. And that topic is the basis of all scientific inquiry, empirical facts, facts that we agree on. If we don't have empirical facts, then that is not considered scientific inquiry. And scientific inquiry is, of course, supposed to give us a glimpse of the truth. And today, what I'm going to suggest to you, that it's quite the opposite, which does not diminish the importance of the scientific method. The scientific method is a very good method based on theory, experiment, observation, validation, falsification, and it is the scientific method that has created human civilization, and everything from money to Wall Street to technology to everything that we do these days is based on science and technology. So the goal here is not to at all discount the importance of science and technology as a method for exploring our perceptual reality, and also actually extending the range of our experiences of perceptual reality. So if we are in a virtual reality, then technology is extending our ability to play in that virtual reality. Incidentally, that virtual reality in the wisdom tradition of India, the Vedanta and Kashmir Shaivism and aspects of Buddhism, that virtual reality is referred to as Maya. Maya is a very interesting word. It's the name of a goddess, the power of Maya to superimpose a constructed reality on a more fundamental reality. And there's another very interesting word in the wisdom traditions called Leela. Leela means the play of consciousness, and the play is the virtual video game that we are in, which is called the universe. The virtual video game in which we are also virtual fictional characters, and there's an underlying reality in the background that is watching this fictional character along with all other fictional characters in a collective dreamscape, in a vivid, lucid, timeless now. That is what is really happening. So what about the scientific method? Well, the scientific method is very interesting. While it extends our ability to play in virtual reality as virtual body-mind entities that we call biological organisms. Biological organisms are part of the fictional character that we all are. And the collective dreamscape is also part of the virtual reality in which we are participating as human beings. But we forget sometimes that what we call scientific models of reality are still models. Just like religious models are models, mythical models are models, theological models are models. The scientific method is the most successful model. It helps me create another virtual extension of virtual reality: jet planes, computers, internet, iPhones, artificial intelligence, VR, augmented reality are already extending what we're already in. So, scientific method in that virtual reality is what? Well, first decide mentally what you want to explore. So you say, well, I want to explore fundamental reality at the level of quantum mechanics. Okay, this is, I'm just kind of making up a scientific project. So now I want to know at the fundamental level if reality is physical. Well, if I do a particle-like experiment and I see a particle, and then I say, oh, reality is physical. And then I can do another experiment, which is a wave-like experiment. This is the famous double-slit experiment. And now what I find when I look across the screen is, or on the screen after the double slit, I see something that is not particle-like at all. It's a wave of possibility. And unlike particles, which are presumably physical entities with units of mass and energy, waves have no units of mass and energy. They're just probability waves in an infinite background of possibilities, which is literally infinite. So is fundamental reality wave-like or particle-like? Is it physical? Is it matter-like or is it mind-like? And the answer is depends on our point of view. The double-slit experiment is just that, point of view. Is general relativity correct or is quantum physics correct? Well, if my mode of observation is macroscopic, then general relativity is correct. If my mode of observation is ultra-microscopic, then quantum mechanics is correct. Are they both correct? Well, it depends on how you do the experiment, what your perspective is. What is reality before you do the experiment? And answer is, it's infinite possibilities. So when you look at an empirical fact, let's look at an empirical fact that we're looking at most recently. The best examples are things like the discovery of the Higgs boson. So, the Higgs boson is this little particle, boson, named after Bose and Higgs, two physicists. And what is the Higgs boson? It's a fundamental particle which gives mass to other particles and ultimately, therefore, results in the physical universe. But what is the Higgs boson? It's the result of an experiment. The experiment at a hadron collider where particles are smashed against each other at lightning speeds and they break up into smaller particles and then you observe them. And by the time you observe them, of course, they don't exist. They're ghosts, literally. But based on that, we create the whole structure of the physical universe. Equations, particles, 16, 18 particles, electrons, protons, neutrons, and then, quarks. And then you go deeper and deeper, and you keep breaking up reality into smaller and smaller particles till it ultimately disappears into formless possibilities. So what is that particle? It's a mode of knowing the answer to a question that I asked myself. That's a mode of knowing and experience of a question that particle physicists are asking themselves. Now, Heisenberg, one of the pioneers of quantum physics, famously said that nature does not reveal herself to us as she is, but as exposed to our methods of questioning. As exposed to our methods of questioning. But actually, we are not asking nature questions. So even Heisenberg actually didn't go all the way. Nature is not being asked a question. We are asking a question of ourselves. Then we are designing experiments to answer those questions of ourselves. Then we observe empirical facts and then we superimpose that on nature's behavior. Ultimately, ignoring everything else except that observation. So that's why in the Vedanta and Kashmir Shaivism, they say all forms of knowledge are ignorance of reality. Knowledge creates a veil on the infinite to give us the experience of the particular. And who's the infinite? It's you. It's fundamentally you as pure consciousness, infinite. But then you modulate yourself into a particular mode of knowing and observation. You call it an empirical fact. You ignore the total reality from where you actually came up with this idea. And then you say that's reality. So do empirical facts reveal the truth, or do they conceal the truth? I'm saying here they conceal the truth, the bigger truth, truth with a capital T. They reveal an aspect of the truth, which we take to be the truth, and that, of course, causes all the problems. So in Buddhist literature, and this kind of understanding is frequently referred to as the conceptual understanding of reality, the conceptual, whether it's mathematical concepts or concepts derived from physics, biology, astronomy, cosmology, quantum mechanics, mathematics. But these are all concepts derived in consciousness, right? In fact, that's what consciousness's main job is, to come up with concepts. And then these concepts, particularly human consciousness, comes up with concepts. And these concepts get superimposed on fundamental reality. And then they create the experience of our existence. Everything that we have a word for is actually just that, everything. Latitude, longitude, money, Wall Street, nation states, races, ethnic backgrounds, color of skin, concepts. Because fundamentally, there is only one being differentiating into all these modes of knowing and experience that humans call reality, but it's not. Reality is vast, inconceivable, unimaginable, formless, spaceless, timeless. Space-time causality, the theater of space-time causality, is an extension of that. So the conceptual body is also called the karmic body. The conceptual world is called the karmic world. Behind that is the world of bliss, Satchitananda, truth, pure consciousness, bliss, joy, unmitigated joy. Not just happiness. Happiness is for a reason. Joy is who we are. We are joyful because we are unlimited, boundless, limitless, beyond birth, beyond death. It's exhilarating, ecstatic just to think of that, but to feel that is even more exhilarating. It's more joyful, and that's the ultimate healing. That's the ultimate healing. Light body. What Buddhists call the rainbow body. And we are all rainbow bodies. Every object is a rainbow body. And beyond the rainbow body is the bliss body. Totally free, unencumbered, free to create whatever it wants through attention and intention. Field of all possibilities, totally unpredictable, pure creativity, pure knowing, pure intelligence, pure understanding, and evolving into dimensions of creativity and imagination that we don't even know at the moment. Now, one of the best clues to this is our own imagination. So if I ask you to imagine anything right now, imagine your home. Now imagine your business. Now imagine a rainbow. Now imagine a flower, a red rose. Imagine the ocean. Imagine this scene. Close your eyes and imagine this scene. And you have an experience. How did you convert your consciousness, which is totally formless, into that experience? We call it image. Just an intention. And the formless became the form in imagination. Okay, the image is a form on the screen of consciousness. And it's a modification of the formless. In fact, between every two thoughts, you are formless. Between every two images, you're formless. Between every two sensations, you're formless. Between every two perceptions, you're formless. Between every two words that you hear, you're formless. But you, the formless being, which is the intrinsic, innate awareness of existence, is present always, in the form and without the form. In confusion, in clarity. Doesn't matter. You're confused, you're clear, you're fearful, you're brave, you're in pain, you're experiencing pleasure. The formless exists uninvolved. Okay, and the formless also exists in the form, whether the form is confused, conflicted, compulsive, all of that, all clear. It doesn't matter. All pervasive, infinite, boundless intelligence is there, sitting in the middle. You know, Rumi has a famous poem. Who am I in the midst of all this thought traffic? Who am I in the midst of all this thought traffic? Who you are is the divine. In the midst of concepts which are superimposed on infinite, transparent, fundamental reality as this karmic body and this karmic universe. Just a memory. Everything you look at is a memory. By the time you experience it, it doesn't exist. So behind the karmic body, behind the karmic world, is the transparent, infinite, luminous body of the universe and your body. In spiritual traditions, we call this the subtle body. Mind, intellect, and ego, which is what recycles, incarnates as the physical body and its experience of the physical world. And all of that is a dream. All of that is a dream. How do we know? Because it fluctuates. It goes on, off, on, off. Every time it goes on, it's different than what went off. Ungraspable, uncatchable, transient, ephemeral, and evanescent, a dream. But you are the dreamer, and you're not the dream. You are the dreamer and not the dream. Yes, hope, Abba, all forms of knowledge are ignorance. Why? Because they veil the truth of the infinite. Empirical facts, particularly, veil the truth of the infinite, which is who you are. So if we examine the emergence of these concepts that are actually human, all animals are human concepts, all trees are human concepts, all rocks are human concepts, all stars, galaxies are human concepts. In other words, we seem to impose our concepts on reality and project it as the karmic world and the karmic body. The veil of ignorance has to be lifted in order to know fundamental truth of Atma, Atma Darshan, Atma Bodha, self-knowledge reveals all. And then, of course, you're free to play and upgrade the collective dream, which right now is, I think, a nightmare. So yes, somebody said symbols. Symbols is what we're experiencing right now. Symbols. Those statues, those deities behind me are symbols of archetypal consciousness. But everything you see is a symbol, including my body. Everything is a symbol. Everything is a symbol. If you can see it, touch it, taste it, smell it, conceptualize it, imagine it, it's a symbol of what? You. What is it a symbol of? It's a symbol of yourself. What you're paying attention to right now. And when you pay attention to anything, you pay attention to this or that, you ignore everything else. That's the meaning of ignorance. In order to know one thing, you have to ignore everything else. So what's the key? The key is, of course, yoga. Bhakti yoga, the yoga of love, Raj yoga, all the modalities of experiencing the absence of chit vritti, fluctuations of the mind. And of course, karma yoga, selfless service, and Gyan yoga, the razor's edge, treading between these two worlds and the interface between the symbolic and the non-symbolic. So once you realize that symbols create experience, but you're not experience, you are the source of all experience. And the source of all experience is, of course, thought, which is entangled with sensations, images, feelings, etc., etc. So, do empirical facts reveal the truth or hide the truth? They hide the truth, my friends. But hiding the truth and creating illusions is the play of the universe too. It's our play. It's Leela. It's Maya. It's the power of Shakti, the goddess, and that interacts with Purusha, pure being, and knows itself as that. So every sensation, forget what the sensation is. I can say, this is the sensation of a book. This is the sensation of my shirt. This is the sensation of my face. But forget that for a moment. Just experience the sensation. The sensation by itself is the only experience. Everything else is superimposed. Sensation is hard, it's soft, it's sharp, it's dull, it's clear, it's ambiguous, whatever. But at the moment the sensation takes place, whatever that sensation is, a visual sensation, a tactile sensation, auditory sensation, olfactory sensation, as soon as that sensation occurs, there's a concept that emerges, human concept, subject-object. Subject-object split is created as consciousness wants to know itself as sensation. And in that moment of seeing, seer and scenery arises. In that moment of hearing, hearer and hearing arise. But fundamental activity is just sensing. Sensing, hearing, seeing, touching, tasting, smelling, thinking, feeling. These are fundamental activities. And they superimpose a world of objects, the concept of matter, into the world. And freedom is knowing that you're the creator of that experience and that you're not bound by that experience. And once you're clear on that, there can only be joy. Unprovoked joy, bliss, because you lose every single fear and you realize that even fear is a concept. Happiness is a concept. Suffering is a concept. Only Sat Chit Ananda is the truth. Sat, truth of existence. Chit, pure knowing. Ananda, the bliss and the peace that passes all understanding. Okay, so I think I have said everything I needed to say today, but I'm looking for your feedback here. Susanna Paula says, hello. Debbie says, yes, it's amazing. Thank you, Debbie. And Susan says, I'm enjoying my sensations. Nicole says, Sachin Chitananda. Seti says, she's understanding and enjoying this. Very good. We make sense of the world from what we have learned. Saad Munir Bashir from Hungary says thank you. Satchitanand. Is evil a concept as well? Yes, yes, yes. Everything that you have a name for is a concept. I would say entropy is a better concept than evil. Creativity is sattva, entropy is destruction, in between is transformation. Okay, so those are useful concepts. Human concepts that create a human experience of the human world. Most of you are just responding by saying Sat Chit Ananda. So let's rest with that. Sat Chit Ananda. See you next time. Oh, by the way, I'm going to start doing live meditation once a week, starting this Monday. And so if you want to be part of that, you might want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, the Chopra Well, as a subscriber. A live meditation every Monday. One day I will reserve for answering your questions and answers. Probably it will be starting next Friday. The rest of the week I'll do what I do usually, but Mondays I will do a live meditation, and I think Fridays I will start to do live Q&As. And always remember that you can always go on my bio and go to deepakchopra.com or chopra.com, or check out the subscription and free meditations that are available on chopra.com and on what we call it, chopracentermeditation.com. So 90% of everything is free. There's some offerings that are subscription based because we have to pay the bills as well and have a staff. But most of it is there for us to enjoy. Some of this will have to be premium so we can pay our bills. But check out all these sites and check out chopra.com, deepakchopra.com as well. There are two different sites. And next week we are launching a new app at chopra.com. So be sure to look for it and I'll remind you as well. Okay, so that's a long post today. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon. Stay in bliss.